our client's innocent, and we want to have her day in court. She wants her day in court. And I know that's a hard thing for everyone to believe here, but she is innocent, and she wants to have her day in court.
Go with the flow. We've got tons of work to do in this case, and we're concentrating on the case, and we're always concentrating on what we feel is in our best interest. And I want you all to know something. You write a lot and you say a lot, but everyone who's speaking of our motivations and why we do things don't know what we know.
My job is to make sure two things. One, that the constitutional rights of the client are protected, and that they're not, is to make the record, and two, to deal with the forensic issues, which obviously we're not. Obviously, when they took the crime scene down, we cannot obviously see what the scene was at the time. But the plant material and the plant life indigenous to that area is now growing back. And so I think that now, with that plant material growing back, it's an appropriate time to see what are the native flora and fauna at the scene.
The issue is that Tim, has been very compassionate, as I have been, and as to George and Sydney Anthony having, to really know whether anybody disturbed the remains of Caylee. I think that was fair, and I think what Brad had indicated, and I'm glad it was him. I had the information, but it came from him. That I've been talking to Mr. Conway routinely, and so that they know that nobody's been out there. I've been providing him that information. So, we think that was a compassionate, right thing to do, but to expose 4,000 searchers to having all of their private information all over the world, and since none of them were at the exact spot, it just doesn't seem appropriate. Well, I think there was a suggestion that, and we're not saying that anything was done wrong. We're just simply saying this is a non-profit charity who doesn't have the money, the resources, or the time to compile and properly put together 4,000 documents, forgetting the inappropriateness of that. And we want the money up front. And just like any case, you want to make sure that those funds are from appropriate, rightful sources. Not saying that there's anything wrong whatsoever. Just want to make sure that it's all done right. There's a right and a wrong way of doing things. And we believe that with our motion, we spelled out with great specificity the right way that this is supposed to be done. You just can't wing it. These are important considerations. Ms. Anthony has every right to excellent defense. We're in America. She's entitled to that. Similarly, other people have rights too, and all rights need to be acknowledged, and the rules need to be followed, and they need to be done the right way. But the fact of the matter is that he suggested that, and for the life of me, I can't see where that at one time, having represented George and Cindy, that there's a conflict in representing Texas Equisearch. Well, the goal for all was to find this child, whether she was alive or not alive. And so where would the conflict be? And the fact of the matter is that Brad, Mr. Conway, stated on the record very clearly that there was a conflict, it's waived. So there's no issue. Somebody was out there in that spot. It's appropriate, I think, to turn that over. There's no issue. I mean, that's, what did you see? Why did you miss it? That's an appropriate question. These are searchers who are going to find a body. Or they're believing that a body's there. So where's their motive? Where's their incentive to find a body and not do anything about it? I mean, nobody retrieved it for fame or fortune. Nobody buried it. I mean, so you go, oh my gosh, you found it, now I'm not going to tell anybody. I mean, Mr. Conway has been privy to the records so that they might have a sense of peace. That the right things have been done. As to providing to the defense and having 4,000 people have their private records all over the nation, if not all over the world, we don't think it's appropriate. The fact is we're any searchers on at that specific place. And if not, then where's the relevancy? And what kind of chilling effect does it have to have 4,000 people have their personal records disclosed to the world? And what kind of statement does that make for other charities who have volunteers, knowing that one day maybe all their information might be made public? When we get down to it, nobody was on that immediate place. And the fact of the matter is that we provided that to Mr. Conway.
There's a lot of sadness, lots of anxiety, of course. When she was sitting there, she was fidgeting with her fingers. Even when she was holding the pen, she was fidgeting. And I saw her take a lot of deep sighs, a lot of internal dialogue going on. She even went into kind of an internal dialogue trance. So she's in very, very deep thought about what's going on. A little bit different demeanor from what I've seen in the past. In the past, she seems to be a little bit more on show, so to speak, that she's kind of enjoying all of the limelight and so forth. Today, I saw a completely different demeanor. She just seems to be like just broken and in deep thought and depressed and sad. With Jose Baez, I saw a lot of tension there, and I really picked up a lot of that he was kind of disgusted with her. At one point, he kind of pinched his nose right here, which is tension. It's almost kind of there's a tension headache going on. He's kind of over it. On the prosecution side, their demeanor seemed to be very focused. They were confident in what they were presenting. Their demeanor was very calm. They knew what they were going to say. They didn't stumble. There weren't any sort of speech errors or anything. They were very calm. They were confident in what they were saying.